Help support our coverage with PureVPN, the fast, secure way to protect your connection at home or on the go. Get exclusive savings now at techpodcast.com/PureVPN. Well, we have our next guest here. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Fantastic. Yourself?
Good.
Go ahead and introduce yourself for me.
My name is Karen Guzman, and I work as Automotive Marketing Manager and Sustainability Enabler for Covestro.
Okay, so tell me what you guys do.
Covestro is not only a raw material supplier, we also helped our customers develop new processes and new technologies for the products of tomorrow.
Okay, so I see we have a whole collection of interesting things here. Tell me about this.
Yes, we can start maybe with this one.
Okay.
We developed a thermal conductive polycarbonate that replaces aluminum and magnesium heat sinks.
Okay.
And you might ask, why do we need that? Well, this material makes the parts lightweight. And we also help our customers save cost by also making the same performance on thermal management.
So that was the next question I was going to ask is how do they compare? Because obviously anybody who does computer work or whatever is familiar with one of a couple of, heavy metal elements for heat sinks.
Right.
So you're saying that this has a comparable response?
Thermal management, yes.
Wow.
So obviously aluminum or magnesium, they do have better thermal conductivity than polycarbonate, but polycarbonate has better emissivity. So when you are managing heat, you don't only focus on thermal conductivity, also other ways of heat dissipation.
Okay.
And that's how the polycarbonate is able to compete with this. And obviously this helps the consumers because you get cars or electronics that are less heavier, but they're also safer. And we helped also reducing some of the cost on those parts.
So less expensive, equal performance, less weight, safer.
Yes. That's just using material science to enable new technologies or processes.
All right. I mean, that one sounds like a no-brainer to me.
Right. We're trying to have these on the roads with cars, fog lamps, or headlamp heat sinks, but also in electronics. It's already in our buildings. On the electrical sockets, you find this material, although you don't see it.
Sure. And, that's one of the interesting things for us this week. We tend to be over in the Venetian, and we end up with talking to a lot of finished products, right? Well, finished is probably a bit of a stretch when it comes to Eureka Park, but things that are intended to be end products.
Correct.
And we don't usually talk about materials and things like that. And just today, we've talked about aluminum casting, and now we're talking about material science. Yeah, we talked about nuclear fusion the other day. Like, this has been a lot of fun for us because it's not the kind of thing that we generally think about in our day-to-day. Maybe when you're going out and buying a car. Right. You think about, do I want this finish or do I want a wood finish or but you don't think about the process of developing and sourcing all that ahead of time. And
all the years that takes to develop those parts. And this is a great example, actually. This one is inside the BMW i7 car. And we helped BMW and other customers to develop this technology.
Okay.
What it's new for the customers that they might not know is that it is still a polycarbonate lens, but we developed direct coating. It's been for 10 years almost, and it's finally on a serial production car. And the direct coating that we apply to the polycarbonate lens allows this high gloss luxury finish, but it also provides the part with a self-healing process.
Oh.
If something scratches the surface, you can use a hot air gun to fix the surface, and it's going to be like brand new again.
Wow.
It's the same technology that actually the front panels on the BMW electric cars have.
Okay.
If a stone hits the surface and it gets damaged, you can repair it because that coating is self-healing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes, so a lot of advantages for the consumers, but also for our direct customers, the OEMs, and the tier 1s and tier 2s.
Sure. So from a consumer standpoint, it keeps your, in this case, vehicle, but I
Right.
imagine this could be used
Anywhere.
across products.
Yes.
But we'll continue talking vehicles because we're in Westall.
Right.
So with this, it allows the products to look and feel both premium and new
Right.
longer.
Longer.
Okay. And from the manufacturing standpoint, I would imagine that it, even in manufacturing, sometimes things get scratched, right? When you're making stuff. So
Yes, reduces the
Problem solved.
scrap rate.
Yeah.
Right. We actually worked with the tooling manufacturers and the coating suppliers to enable this technology.
Okay.
And at the end, we have evaluated the process is cheaper than traditional painting or hard coating processes. So that's also developed within the value chain with everyone, all the partners.
So once again, better finish,
Yes,
self-healing,
right,
and less expensive.
correct. That's the type of products and projects that we like to develop with all
Sure.
our customers.
To make it better and less expensive.
Yes,
Okay.
and we call it the material effect.
Okay.
Because we don't only just sell you the material, we help you develop in the
Okay.
technologies of the future. So
Understood.
that's why we're here in the West Hall, trying to meet with everyone.
Very cool. What else have we got here? I see what looks like some rubber or something in a
Yes.
jar and plastic beads and
Right.
a
Covestro
really
has
nice bit of wood finish here.
wood finish that looks real. Very quickly, this one, Covestro is also working a lot on the sustainability side, and we take end-of-life tires, the
Okay.
used tires from our cars.
Sure.
We recover those tires, and we chemically recycle the rubber
Okay.
to produce virgin quality polycarbonate again, that it's clear, and you can use it again for headlamp lenses or any other clear applications.
Okay. So this is this.
Yes, this becomes
Okay.
this.
Wow. Because tires have always been a scourge,
Yes,
right?
we have to do something
It's
with
like,
tires.
what are we going to do? I guess we'll shred them and put them on playgrounds. Well, that's not a great solution.
Right, not in the long term.
Right. It's better than a landfill or setting them on fire somewhere,
Right,
right?
right.
But it's not an ideal actual solution. But even if you were only able to repurpose a quarter or a half, then fine. That's still a
Still
quarter or a
something,
half.
right.
That's not just, you know.
Going to landfills
Yeah.
or burning.
Okay. So this can just be repurposed
Into
for things that are,
optical clarity new polycarbonate lenses.
wow. And how much of the tire surface is able to be repurposed? I imagine the threading inside
Yes.
is not, but
So the metal reinforcements, those get separated
Okay.
and repurposed, and also
to repurpose to something else.
do something else.
Okay.
Right. We only care about the rubber. So
Okay.
during the chemical process, you separate the metals and anything else that is not rubber.
All the
And- and obviously-
fabric and stuff
Right.
inside the
And all the contaminants that, because tires are
on the road.
dirty, right? So everything that is not needed gets filtered and separated out.
Okay. So the metals that are inside still get repurposed, but
Right.
separately.
Right, separately.
The threading is what it is, but it's
Right.
it's just thread. It's
Right.
not that big of a deal.
Yes, you can just
And
filter
then
them
basically all of the rubber then gets repurposed.
Correct.
So other than the thread and the nonsense
the
that
impurities.
tires pick up
out. Right,
because they're outside and driving on the road,
right.
all of that gets repurposed.
Yes.
So it's a pretty high percentage.
Yes, the chemical recycling process is actually one of the with the highest yields on the recycling processes.
That's really great. Everybody should be putting tires through this process.
Hopefully, yes, we can find a market to use these type of products.
So, where are we in? You've totally sucked me in with this one. Where are we in that process? Because you said this one took, a decade and a half
Direct coating.
from starting to putting it out in the wild. Where are we with this process? Is it early days? Does it work?
This process took a couple of years, and it's already on serial. We can fabricate it in real production plants.
Okay.
Right now, it's in Germany, in our manufacturing site in Germany.
Okay.
And it's ready. Any customer that would like to buy these pellets coming from end-of-life tires, they can buy it.
All right.
It's ready.
And you're doing these processes right now, today?
Right now, today.
Okay.
We can deliver tomorrow.
Okay. Very cool. Well, it seems like you guys are up to a lot of really interesting stuff.
Yes.
If people want to learn more about the interesting material science projects that you're up to, how can they do that?
They can go directly to covestro.com, and they can just look at the industry that they are interested: automotive, healthcare, electric and electronics, consumer products, and there's a way to find us there.
Fantastic. Well, I really appreciate you coming over and talking to me today.
Thanks so much for the time. It was really exciting.
I agree. It is really exciting. You and your company really are up to some interesting stuff with a focus on making better and less expensive at the same time.
High performance, efficient products.
Yeah, very cool.
Thank you so much for the time.
Have a good rest of the show.
You too.
The Tech Podcast Network's CES 2026 coverage is executive produced by Adam Barker. Technical director is Ravin Ford. Associate producers are Nancy Ertz, Brandy Jackson, and Beth Price. Our hosts are Marlo Anderson, Don Bain, Scott Ertz, and Serge Velasquez. Graphic design by Vicky Gonzalez. Executive producer emeritus Todd Cochran. Award production is provided by Amrock Fab Lab. Studio equipment is provided by PLUGHITZ Productions. This has been a Tech Podcast Network production, copyright 2026.